So, as consumers who are caught up in this rat race of trying to get the next phone and who are like me who enjoy this the latest tech and we can find ourselves getting caught up if we're not paying attention. What can we do to be honest, make sure that we're getting the most out of what we're buying? Because look, even if we look at some of the trends from better cameras, better processors, better displays, maybe more battery life, 5G that's about to be the next hot thing. When you think about what we use our stuff for in a day to day, it's really not going to be that big of a boost, not that big of a difference. Even though these processors are getting better, for most people, you're not going to notice the difference. In fact, when I broke out my Nexus 6, I was doing something on it, I forgot what it was. I was sitting there navigating through it, and, for just day to day, that processor was able to go through the websites just fine, pull up social media just fine, and it wasn't to the point where it was so big of a difference where I felt I need the newest phone. And by big of a difference, I mean lagging so much where, let's just say, well, back in the day when we had the Motorola Droid, the original OG Droid, you can obviously tell the difference between that and the technology now. I did feel a difference when I was using that because it really was lagging. Well, one processor that it just can't keep up with what we have now. The time it took to load up a website, the time it took to do the little things. Well, it's obviously much better now, but not so much over the last 2 or 3 years. And smartphone manufacturers know that. Yeah, they throw out the latest processor saying it gives you this much extra performance. And I'm not saying to do not increase performance, but mainly the performance that they're talking about is on a battery and helping you get more battery life out of it. But when you look at what manufacturers are doing, they instead of taking advantage of that by putting the same size of battery in there so you get a bigger battery, they're decreasing the battery size. So really, for the most part, even though you're getting better performance out of the processor, well, the battery size is getting smaller. So, at the end of the day, you're getting around the same usage day to day. You're not seeing that big of a usage from one phone to the next one year to year. It's not like, well, let's say this year phone, you're getting 4 hours of battery life, but next year phone, you're getting about 7 to 8 hours of extra battery life or on screen time or something like that. It's not that big of a difference. It's something really, a small amount of difference, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. At best, I'll throw an extra 30 minutes to an hour out there. Unless, you're getting a phone that's really putting a large size battery in there. But for most people, you're not going to see the difference going from one phone to the other. And if you're someone who, again, finding yourself in that rat race, you're a fan of tech like me, you want to go year to year buying the next phone, what can you do to make sure that if you're going to do that, you can try to save yourself the most amount of money? And the first thing I would say is keep your phone in the best shape possible. And for me, I prefer using a case and screen protector. I know you're going to hear people out there saying, there's no need for a case or a screen protector. And I understand that, but this is the reason why I say use it. Not so much just for protection, but to protect from the daily wear and tear. Yes, people say, well, take care of your device, make sure your phone is not in the pocket with your keys. But at the end of the day, there's sometimes you're running out to work or running out where you're running from. You just happen to throw your pocket or your keys in the same pocket or at your smartphone or vice versa. And having the case and screen protector on it just protects that from it being there. Or you happen to slide your phone down on the table somewhere or whatever. It just protects from the daily wear and tear so that your phone continues to look just as new as it did when you took it out of the box. Speaking of the box, when you go to take your phone out of the box, keep it in good shape. The box in particular. Don't go beast mode and ripping the box apart and throwing it across the room. Instead, just, open the box gently and take the stuff out of it, or particularly the phone out of it, and use it. And as far as the cords and the anything else, the accessories that come with the phone, unless, for a lot of us out there, we're getting an update to the phone that we already had. Like for me, I already have a Pixel. I already had a Pixel. So I had a Pixel 2, Pixel 3, Pixel, plan on getting a Pixel 4, the same cords and wireless charge, the same cords and the plug that comes with it, it's going to work with my next Pixel. So for the most part, anytime I break out a new phone, I'll leave the cords and the plugs and anything else that come, the books and everything in a box. And I'll put the box in a shelf somewhere in a bag so that when I go to sell it, the box is looking pristine. When I'm ready to take pictures of the phone, just take the case off of the glass screen protector, clean the phone off real good, make sure it's free of dust, take some good pictures, and make it presentable. And for those who are looking to buy a used phone, they're like, man, you kept your phone in pretty good shape, like it's almost brand new. I'm going to give you more than I would for the guy over there who threw his phone across the room, and you can see there's chips in the glass. You can see it scratched up. It got some wear and tear. So, this will make the difference between you getting the most for your phone. Speaking of getting the most for your phone, sell your phone. Unless you're going to get guaranteed the trade-in value that you're going to get if you sell it, I am not for these trade-in programs. At least a lot of these trade-in programs, because they're a ripoff. They're not giving you the full value what you can get for if you sell it yourself. Now I know people say, man, I don't want to go through the headache. Look, it's not hard. It really isn't. I know there are some concerns out there that, man, I got to go through this and I got to set up a PayPal and this and that. Yes, you do have to do that. But trust me, it's okay. Setting up a PayPal account takes you all of 10 minutes, if that. And you're going to use it for more than just selling your phone. You're going to use your PayPal for buying stuff on eBay. You're going to use it for doing just a number of things. Plus, you use PayPal for paying bills. So, having a PayPal account is not hard to set up, and it's beneficial to have anyway. And the other thing, but I got to go through a mailing list and go through all that again. The excuses that you're using for why you don't want to sell your phone is not worth the amount of money you're losing for not doing it. Because these companies are, giving you pennies for what they're turning around and selling themselves for. Just last week, I talked about on my podcast how much money is being made off of these refurbished phones. So if there's a market for it and people making money off of it, that means your phone still have some value, especially if you took care of it. So look, do yourself a favor. Take good care of your device. And when you're ready to buy the next big device, take your old device, clean it up, clean up the case, clean up the box, which it shouldn't be too dirty because you kept it up in the closet. Take good pictures of it and list it. And I'm pretty sure you will get pretty good value for your phone, especially if you sell it pretty soon. Now, that's another issue, too, that needs to be talked about is the value of these phones. Because they're putting them out the way they're putting them out, the resale value is kind of dropping on some of these phones, especially some of the Samsung phones. We're starting to see them drop at a level that, quite frankly is, not keeping up with the amount that they're raising when it comes to their newer phones. We're seeing Galaxy phones increase in price significantly, yet the value is dropping for the resale part of it. Why? Because, again, they're putting out so many of it, so many of them. So there is going to be a challenge when it comes to the fact that when you go to sell your phone, you're going to just kind of sell it early and be mindful of when everyone else is trying to sell it. And this is something I'm going to have to also be mindful of myself, as I'm getting ready for the brand new Pixel 4 to come out. And I was looking at selling my Pixel 3, but, with Google putting out the Pixel 3a and 3a XL, it's like they pretty much just cut my legs from under me. Where, I don't know how much value I'm really going to get for selling the Pixel 3. Well, my Pixel 3 XL. A used Pixel 3 XL, who's going to want to pay more than $200 for it? Really? When the Pixel 4 are going to come out there, a bunch of people are going to look to be selling their phones. And then it's competing against the Pixel 3a and 3a XL. And it's kind of obvious that a lot of people weren't happy with the Pixel 3 XL for the issues with the notch being right there and it having some software issues. So the resale value in that phone itself may put me in a situation where, you know, as much as I'm talking about reselling a phone to buy it, to put it towards a new phone, it may be better for me to keep that phone as a backup phone versus trying to sell it because, you know, the market may not be as good. But for most of you guys out there, pay attention to the trends. And yeah, if you see, every year around October, the Pixel are going to release their phone. Around September, that's when the iPhone released their latest iPhone. Around close to late August, that's when Samsung released their Note. As far as their latest Galaxy S version, they try to release it around the February, March period, And so knowing those are the release periods, those are the trends. If you're someone who are looking to buy a phone every year, try to sell the previous phone sometime before that, if possible. Especially if you have a backup phone.